I'll say this. I would not allow myself to get comfortable. So even in my little booth, I never decorated it. I never put a picture up. I'm not staying here. So I never.
Very intentional.
Yeah, very intentional.
Yeah. To be honest, like I don't know if you take this approach. I actually took that approach too, even with all of my full-time gigs. Like I never made a permanent setting. So I never tried to make 9290 game permanent because I wanted to be the head of urban programming. It's part of the year we're in now. Yeah. And you got a chance to sit down with Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, first of all, how was it?
Questions.
Second of all, how was it after?
Good question.
Good question. So
back to what I was saying.
What's up, friends, family, and fans? Welcome to Life on Podcast. This is where we listen and inspire friends in entertainment.
And everywhere.
Yeah, because life happens to everyone, even this guy over here. So we are excited today. You know, see, y'all, a lot of you guys know that Johnny's been in radio. So the only friends Johnny has are in radio.
Like radio friends?
So I'm trying to get him out. I'm trying to get
the only friends that will come do the podcast that Johnny has are the ones that are in radio.
But that works for us because radio got a chokehold on a lot of things in a lot of areas in this game. So so far, every radio person we've had has been dope. What I like about it,
because we actually move the needle.
Right, because you only hear their voices and what they do on radio, but then we get to know the person. And a lot of times we're like, wow, you're really hurting. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
That's hilarious.
I'm just kidding. So we have Toni Moore. Toni, so how do you say your full name?
Sytonnia.
It is Sytonnia. Okay, I got it right. Cool. So Sytonnia Moore, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining us.
I'm not going to run down your whole... I'm going to let you do it because... I'll say some things that'll probably get me punched, but I will say this. You've never heard me say this. Toni has always been the immortally talented because one, she does not age.
Thank you.
And two, whatever is happening with the right now, I don't know how you've done it for the last years. Yeah. Your fingers are always in the middle of it. So I do know that my first radio station, 102 Jams in Orlando, you were there. We crossed paths slightly before you left and came here, and then I followed you here. But talk us through it. Give us a little bit of the beginnings, the origin story of Miss Toni Moore and how you got started in broadcasting media in general to becoming the morning show titan that you are right now.
Oh, my gosh. And thank you for all that, by the way. Wow. Let's see. How did I get started? I actually was at a basketball game, and I was 17 years old. High school, just kicking it, hanging out, And this guy asked me if I was interested in being on television. And I was like, sure.
He just walked up to you out of the blue?
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but he was like...
When you're cute, it'd be like that.
He said, that's exactly what he said. He was like, you're cute. I think you'd be great. And I'm thinking to myself, I haven't even opened my mouth yet, but okay. But it was crazy because at the time, I had my sights set on being a teacher. So he asked me if I was interested in being on television, and I said, sure. And then I remember the very first show, I said absolutely nothing. Can you believe that?
No, I cannot believe that. No.
I just sat there and said nothing.
It's different when you realize people have their eyes on you.
Yeah,
the deer in the headlights thing is real.
It felt really weird, and I was like, what do I say? I was like, I wasn't by myself. But I absolutely said nothing.
What was the show?
It was like remember back in the day you had BET, MTV, like MTV Jams and that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
So it was a music video show. Okay. So we would travel and we would do interviews and we had news and we would do features and all kinds of stuff. It was all in. Nice. It was a full show. And but first show I said absolutely nothing. But someone then saw me on TV and said, are you interested in doing radio? So this is when I'm 20. And
opportunity is just like, hello.
So I was like, just following you. Yeah. Wow. So I was like, sure. So
wait. Yeah. Let's notice that every time they asked a question, she said, sure. Yeah. Saying yes to when those things happen is what actually perpetuates those things.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. I'm telling you, you got to speak it and you got to believe it. It'll fall right. It'll come to you. But so my first radio job was at this little rundown station. And I mean, when I say it was a hole in the wall, it was a hole in the wall. But I started, it was Mix 100.5 at the time. It's defunct, of course, but started there. And then from there, some openings started becoming available across town.
Are we in West Virginia?
We're in Gainesville, Florida.
Gainesville, Florida. Okay.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, we're in Gainesville, Florida. And so then I went to Magic 101.3. Then I ended up in Orlando and started working in Orlando. And then, so that's how I ended up at 102 Jams.
It literally just fell in your lap. And I love hearing stories like that because usually when it happens like that, the person isn't ridiculously talented, but you happen to be ridiculously talented.
God. Thank you, because you got to perform.
Yeah. Across all entertainment industries, a lot of times when you see it, the artists that are really, really talented usually have to work the hardest to actually get seen and recognized and to get the shot, from what I've seen. When you got to Jams, that's the first Heritage station you got to touch. That's when I'm guessing swimming with the big fish for the first time.
Yeah, because that was, 102 Jams.
Yeah.
This is like the station. I'm in Gainesville. I'm listening to 102 Jams. And some days, the wind was blowing wrong. It would get staticky. And you like, no. But that was a dream.
Yeah.
So when I got there, I was like, okay, now I'm really playing with the big boys right now. And it was just an amazing experience. And I really was able to hone my skills there. And
I got to ask this. So
yeah.
I used to run Sony Music Pubs here in Atlanta. They had a big layoff. And then I ended up at So Def. Opportunity came to me. Actually, both times. Like you, right? But the part that's not written about, right?
Go ahead.
Is in between there.
Yes.
I was catching shoplifters at Target before I got to So Def. So was there an in-between story? Because
Toni ain't got no stories like that,
because the people that are listening, right? So my thing is, so what's the difference, or is there any difference in the come up or attitude or whatever than from you, where literally the opportunity lands in your lap or sought you out, as opposed to the one who scraped and was like, I did the high school radio show and then I did the college one, and I was and they're doing the whole everything right and grinding, right? What's the difference in the mentality? Do you feel like you missed anything by not going through the come up struggle or anything, or what?
Yeah, and not so much in the struggle, because I still had to work. You got to work to keep it, and you have to perform. If you suck, it's not going to last, right? But I do feel like I missed out on a lot of just college life. Because I was working all the time. Doing radio and TV. I'm never home. So believe it or not, I didn't go to my first college jam or campus jam, whatever you want to call it, until after I graduated from college.
Right.
So I missed out, I think, on life and just being a college student. But no, because it was a struggle. And early back in those days and working at those small stations, we had to do a lot for ourselves. Like we had to cut our own commercials. We had to edit our own sound and this, that, and the other. Production was mandatory. So I learned a lot. I mean, I really learned a lot. But I understand what you're saying, though, because you do have some people who are just doing whatever just to get that opportunity.
Grind,
and then they're working, they're waitressing, or they're doing this, and then they might be in school at the same time. And unfortunately for some people, the opportunity never comes.
So hindsight being 2020, if you look back and say, well, now that I think about it, I did do this, which led me to that, which had me meet this person, which led me here, and that's where the guy found me. Was there anything like this? Last time I'll ask this one, but I just want to help those because some people are like, man,
it's like that didn't happen. And I remember I did an interview when I was at 102 Jams for, I can't remember. Remember the magazine, Ozone?
Oh my gosh.
What was it?
Yeah, Ozone.
And I remember someone told me, I was so annoyed when I read that, when you said that didn't happen. And I'm like, yeah, it actually did happen. But I will tell you the difficult part that nobody tells you about is the drama that comes with this business. Okay. So whereas those jobs were falling in my lap, I was also having to deal with a lot of adversity and different personalities, and a lot of men have different ideas of what they want you to do to keep jobs, if you will, and if you're not willing to play that game.
Right.
I've been fired a few times, so it goes both ways.
I'm gonna tell you this. I've been fired for not wanting to play some of these games.
No, seriously.
I actually want you to dive a little bit deeper into that, though, because I say this to each one of my radio friends who's come on, that people don't understand just how hard it is for what we do.
Yeah.
Because I think you just turn the mic on and you just talk.
No.
How much stuff, because you talked about the production, you talk about cutting your own commercials. They don't talk about, the live apperances you got to do. You're actually a part of the promo team almost in a sense.
Yes.
If you're hosting club nights, which is where we make a lot of our side money when you're early in the business, that stuff actually, one, takes a toll on your lifestyle. It takes a toll on your body and a toll on your mental, because you're completely removed from reality, but you become other people's reality.
Yes.
How did you deal with that in those early stages? Because I know your story. I know it was kind of thrown on you. Like, how did you kind of go from, all right, I'm a 17-year-old kid, to fast forward 4 years, I know those went by in a blink, to adjusting to, I am the party starter. I am bringing life to these people, but I don't have my own.
I was fortunate to work with some pretty amazing people. So there was this, in Gainesville, there was this guy that I worked with. His name was Elo, DJ Elo. So he was already in that club life, the nightlife. So he would say, yeah, you got to do this, and this is how you do it. I had never hosted a club party. I'm like, what do I say? Like, because back then, now, it's like when people say, oh, they're hosting a party, they're just there.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you actually had to host a party. You actually had to get on the mic and rock the party and rock the crowd. So I had great guidance in that sense with colleagues, but you're right. They're so attached to your life and who you are, and almost wanting to live vicariously through you. And then it's like, meanwhile, what do you have for yourself?
Right.
So it's a fine balance. And then, God forbid, if you're in a relationship where that person doesn't support what you're trying to do. I've dealt with that too. Like I've legit had a boyfriend that said, hey, I want you to stop doing that. I don't want you out. And I don't want you doing that. And I don't want you and why is that person hugging you in that picture? And so there are many different layers. I'm telling you, it can be a little crazy, but you just have to be, that's one of those things that you have to be really intentional about. But I say to this day, I don't take enough vacations. I don't spend enough me time with me, and that's something that I want to change in the, next year. So I just, because life is short, so you really have to live it.
Absolutely.
So since this is opportunity, and this is you, and opportunities like this, what dare I say has been your struggle? And obviously there have been. So what give me one of like your biggest struggles or biggest maybe life altering lessons? You know where I'm going with, right?
Yeah.
And there's probably been a few.
We'll start with the struggle in the sense of, again, working for certain people who have a different idea of what they want you to be for them or to them. Okay. So I lost 3 jobs on the strength of just my boss wanting to date me. Right. And I had one that literally fired me and then called me the next day and said, hey, I just, I'm sorry, but I couldn't work with you every day and look at you every day knowing that I couldn't have you. And I'm like, really, dude? Like, this is my life, like my livelihood. And radio, and don't get it twisted, things will fall in your lap. But there aren't a whole lot of radio jobs out there. They'll slip through your fingers, too. And they'll slip through your fingers. And so
I thought you were going to say he called you like, all right, so now that you don't work here.
Oh, he tried it.
I guarantee you he did that. Yeah. I guarantee you he did that.
Yeah, that was the next sentence. Wow. And I was just like, wow, like the audacity, right?
That's crazy.
But also, and with that being said, the struggle part is like when you do lose those gigs. Like for me, I never went longer than a year and a half without getting another gig. But then I hit this block. Like Atlanta's a different kind of animal, and everybody's talented. It's the market is saturated. So the longest gap I had between jobs, if you will, was like almost 2.5 years, and it was freaking me out because I'm like, whoa, I'm not used to this. Right. Like you're used to the coming down, right? But it's like, so that's the adjustment period. But you just grind harder. You know it's coming. And then I'll say another struggle part for me is like when you know you're ready and you've put the time in and you've put the work in and you've busted your butt, and then the opportunities are just passing you by. Like when I was at I worked every shift pretty much imaginable. I was working like a full-timer. Not mad I was making money like a full-timer. But when those full-time jobs were becoming available, it was like I was just getting looked over. Like it just never. I was never a full-time personality there.
So in the moment, I can understand why that's frustrating, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about something just before, and Johnny's like, "Oh yeah, you want this to happen now?" I was like, I said I want it to happen at the right time. So looking back. Yes. I don't know. Do you think maybe some of those positions, like, oh, I'm glad I didn't get that position at that time, or really?
And everything happens for a reason. And also, I'm the kind of person where if I'm like comfortable, I get real complacent. So God had to keep moving. He had to keep me moving to get where I am now.
When's
so,
your birthday?
of course, the ultimate.
When's your birthday? Yeah, right.
Wait, what now?
When's your birthday?
August 4th.
Oh, okay. Because we Geminis are known for being rude.
Leo's be like that
too. But I had to keep moving because I would have stayed right there. Why not?
Yeah.
I would have stayed like right there. But yeah, and then so that's hard too when you have all the qualifications, you're checking off all the boxes, but you still can't just lock down that opportunity. But everything happens for a reason. And then, and even, where I'm at now, like I came to KISS to work on the morning show.
Right.
But then it was like not even a year in, the morning show was dismantled and they brought in another morning show. And I'm like, dang, so, but then fast forward, everything comes back full circle. Here I am back on the morning show.
All right, so now that you're back on the morning show, I was there through most of those iterations and those changes on the morning show and kind of saw what you went through.
Yeah.
What a lot of us were going through, just kind of a revolving door of stuff that was happening. But now that you've kind of got things settled, you're working with an extremely notable comic who's one of my favorites, Mr. George Wilburn, who is silently one of the funniest people alive. Could you have seen where you are now, let's say 10 years ago? Even if the morning show seat was what you wanted, has it played out the way you have it now?
No, I couldn't. 10 years ago, I couldn't see it. Let's see, 2016, I was doing traffic. Okay, and I was just like, where are the jobs?
I gotta ask this. Okay, you're answering because from the outside in. So is traffic like the Buster's position?
No.
Are y'all being political?
No.
Y'all being political? Okay.
No. So people like Toni. People like
I'm gonna put you on traffic. Is it
people
like
Renee? Well, it's different. People like Renee Washington, Toni, Dyron Ducati actually used to kill traffic. You got some people who like turn traffic into their thing, but you've got to be one of those hyper talented people to do
traffic into your thing?
Some people do. Do you watch WSB Channel 2 in the morning? Do you see what Mark Aram used to do with traffic when he would mix rap lyrics into it?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Like there are different ways that you can do it, and Toni had a really slick way to do it. Like Toni's voice is just sexy. I'm just tell you that. I remember like, all right, what's happening? And Toni would come and do a traffic report. I'd be like, where's the traffic? Because I'm just like,
we have a big truck pushing up on a little Fiat.
She don't even talk slow. That's the thing.
The Fiat is backing it up like it shouldn't be.
I used to wish my voice was silky smooth, like because it was just like you could just listen to it and not care what she was saying, and then you would subconsciously digest it. And she had other little things that she did too, but I'm just for me the voice got me. I'm just like I could listen to you.
You're very unattractive when you geek out.
That's cool.
I'm just saying.
But she's known me for so it's okay. I can geek out with her.
Yeah, for sure. But no. So during that moment, because I was like, look, I had applied for this job, it was not happening.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, we're over here doing traffic. But I'll say this. I would not allow myself to get comfortable. So even in my little booth, I never decorated it. I never put a picture up. I'm not staying here. So I never.
Very intentional.
Yeah, very intentional.
Yeah. To be honest, like I don't know if you take this approach. I actually took that approach too, even with all of my full-time gigs. Like I never made a permanent setting because one, you're always looking for the next thing. Like even when we launched 92.90 Game, that was probably the biggest gig I had at the time, especially getting the executive producer gig and being on air at a sports station. But Reggie's job was the job I wanted. So I never tried to make 92.90 Game permanent because I wanted to be the head of urban programming. So
those of you out there starting your catering business or whatever it is, and you're working in a call center, take down the pictures,
the decorations down.
Take them down. I'm dead serious. Like that hit home. Like,
it
like
does.
for real. Like
I mean, now,
like make it uncomfortable.
This world's a little
people
different.
aren't comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That's true, but our world's a little different. Radio's slightly different because literally you can get a job now and 6 months later you could be out of there.
Yeah.
Like a company can buy it and they just say, oh no, we're revamping everything.
You know, in spite of that though, I don't think the mentality changes.
Oh, well, that's true.
If you're like, okay, I got moved, but it still ain't where I plan on staying. So don't get comfortable. I love that.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Because there were some people, like this one girl, she had a rug. She had pillows, like
she ain't
with her
going
name nowhere.
Until she gets kicked out.
Up everywhere, and I'm like, nah, girl.
And I do know I got some really good friends who've been doing traffic for 27 years, and that's their thing. They love it.
There's a whole mindset in that lesson. I hope everyone picked up on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you're there now. You're doing big things now. I want to get to something that happened. I wanted to get you on right after it happened, but you got an opportunity because we know what part of the year we're in now, and you got a chance to sit down with Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, first of all, how was it?
Questions.
Second of all, how was it after?
Good question.
Good question. So that was my second time interviewing her, and I've had the pleasure of being around her a total of 3 times. But that was amazing. And then, of course, everyone's like, how'd you do that?
Yeah.
How'd you get that? And I'm like,
I'm me. I'm her.
No,
I'm
but
she.
again, let me tell you this. You have to manifest stuff, right? So we had been talking like, we got to get Kamala, we got to get the president, we got to get Madam VP, one of them. Take either or. And I'm asking around because I'm like, I interviewed her,
He's a child.
No, seriously. I'm like,
So President Biden thinks, well, it's great to be here at 93.3. That's 104.5.
right.
That's what I said. 104.5 the bird. Sorry.
but
I shouldn't be laughing at this man's condition. Forget
What?
But,
His
go
age?
ahead,
That's a blessing for him to be that.
yeah, he's very wise. I love President Biden. But and so we were having this conversation. I'm just like, let me go back through my old emails because I know I have a contact in there somewhere. Like I interviewed her before. Next thing I know, literally like not even a week later, I get this email. Hey, hi Toni, how you doing? Been wondering if you're interested in having Vice President Kamala Harris on. I'm like, what? Are you serious? Of course I am.
Johnny. Opportunity.
Softball.
No, I'm telling
Love
you.
it.
And I think afterwards, though, I felt like, because opportunities can be given to you and they can be taken away.
Sure.
But something like that kind of helps you solidify your space.
Sure.
So I think afterwards, I felt like, all right, I felt a little like I can bring in a picture and put it on the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I I can bring a picture in and put it. Yeah.
And the thing I'm gonna give you props on too is people on the outside don't realize how much working the phones goes into being a radio personality. If you've got a dope executive producer like I was, you ain't got to do nothing.
Right.
A lot of my hosts when I was producing didn't do. I mean, they had their contact and their stuff, but me and co-producers handled most of that because our contact lists were
you had
there.
a mean Rolodex. Yeah.
But when you are that person in the chair and you can land that as well, it's a double thing because a lot of talents are just talent.
Right.
And then you get some people who were producers who get put in the talent seat and it doesn't translate. And I'm giving you mad props for being pulling it, and the interview was amazing. Go check it out, kiss141fm.com. Click on air, click on Sytonnia, and then all the interviews are right there.
Yeah.
Some other dope ones on there too. I asked what it felt like before and after for 2 reasons. One, for what it did for you in solidifying that seat that you're in now, because you that's your seat, that's your chair. But 2, in the climate that we're in right now, we know what happened at the debate. We know what the conversation is going on about replacing Biden as a potential running as the candidate and her stepping up. Did you get any vibes during then? Because I think this was pre-debate though, wasn't it? Then that there were possible inklings of her entertaining that idea, because the rumblings were happening even before the debate.
No, and one thing about it, she's always maintained that she's supporting him 150%.
Okay.
So that wasn't even a thought at the time. I think that's the first time that we've seen President Biden in that space. And listen, I go to bed at 8:30. I try to anyway. I don't know how that man is doing.
You got to be up at 3:30 for that.
A debate at 9 o'clock at night, like. Even if I don't have to work, I think I'm trying to go. You know, it's a lot. And he is, 81 years old. But I'll say this. After watching his press conference, after the NATO summit, I was like, okay, the man gave us a whole history lesson. And if we're paying attention, he knows what he's doing. As he's told us 1,000 times over, he was the youngest senator, and now he'll be the oldest president. What irritates me in that space is when someone asked him, like, can you ensure that you're not going to have another bad night? Can you?
Yeah, you can. You don't even know if you're going to be here in the morning.
Thank you.
Right. But let me ask you a hard question.
Yeah.
Because just because you interview someone,
is that to say my questions have been easy? What are you doing?
Yeah. Unfortunately, life's not about you. It's about Toni right now. Just because you interview someone, right? That may be a relationship, doesn't mean y'all friends.
No.
So you don't owe them anything.
No.
Right?
Right.
Do you think we can do better
than what we have right now? Honestly, no. I think President Biden is brilliant. And I think he has the knowledge, the intelligence, the experience, obviously. And then if something, were to happen to him, we have Madam VP. And she's amazing as well. So I think we're in good hands either way. With what we have on the table to choose from, no, we can't do any better.
Okay. Let me ask you a harder question.
Yeah.
You being a seasoned veteran as a reporter, as a writer, as a personality, and as an influencer yourself, do you feel like what we have and what you know is translatable to the demographic that they really need to carry?
No, because, the media, the press, we control the narrative. And right now, the only narrative that they're focusing on is pushing the idea that he needs to remove himself.
Right.
So, a great example of that. So before the press conference, it was, the Democrats are waiting to see, how he's going to perform during this press conference, and it's unscripted and this and that. And, they'll start having some real conversations after that. So he does the press conference, he does okay. And then it's, he did okay, but we're at this space now where they just want him to remove himself. So it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? So with that being the running narrative for pretty much every outlet, I don't think it's going to translate to the demographic that they need it to.
What is this puzzled look on your face? He has another tough question. That's what this is.
I wonder if I should ask her my question.
Yes. Ask it. The eyebrow raise.
So here's my thing, because I'm at this point now in my political life where I'm nonpartisan. I truly am best person for the job. And no, I'm not the best person for the job. I mean, I am of the mindset of best person for the job.
Glad we clarified.
No, that's not my call. And I really do try to be as objective as possible. I did a whole 90-day Trump experiment where I'd stop hating on him just to hate him. And I really tried to learn about him. And it changed some views, right? Still not a fan, but it changed a lot of views. Biden the same way. To me, because I know the importance of communication, and in the realms of politics, optics really is everything. And a lot of times optics rings true. Like, it does bother me if you can't complete a sentence in it, because if I'm not going to sit in front of a dignitary from another country flipping over my words. Right. No matter what you want to say, no matter what ends up coming across, they're still forming an opinion of you, and then you represent the country, right? So those things, none of those things weigh well with me. Then the inflation and all that kind of stuff. So, like with any president in there, Obama included, things I love, things you can do better. You're not going to find different no matter who we elect. So, but I feel we are in a choose from dumb or dumber scenario right now. And what I asked him was, if you had to choose, I'm actually at a third question that I didn't ask you, which wasn't fair.
Okay.
Would you eat poop, drink unfiltered piss, or just starve?
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't get the third option.
You didn't, and you should have.
I mean, I'll answer your question.
Both of them are my question.
In your space of where you're coming from, I would starve.
Okay.
But I think what we're dealing with here, and just so you know, inflation has gone down. They did mention that yesterday, so we're getting there.
Do we feel it yet, though? Let me stop. I'm not gonna be devil's advocate. You're right. The numbers are true.
And number one thing, this is one of the reasons why I don't get into that kind of politics, because you can argue any point.
Yeah.
So, and I don't get into that. But go ahead.
Inflation is down, and there should be a ceasefire altogether with Hamas and Gaza real soon. And they finally have an agreement in place, and NATO is in place. So we have our allies. So I worry about, just putting it this way, if this is Trump, there is no NATO. We're not participating.
Right.
We don't have any allies. You know, I kind of look at it, I won't say poop or unfiltered urine.
If you like.
I'll say straight or crooked. So I'd rather be under the leadership of an elderly wise man who I know is going to handle business versus an elderly, because Trump is elderly too.
Yeah, he is.
He's just 3 years younger than Biden. Than be under the leadership of an elderly, crooked, fraudulent man who wants to be a dictator.
Okay.
So I'll say that. So if I had to, let's say this is poop and this is unfiltered urine, then I'd do the unfiltered urine.
Okay, my last question on this, because we got so much fun to get to. To the person that is in that starve medium, who's thinking it's not worth me making a bad choice or a worse choice, and they're deciding to maybe for the first time withhold that vote. They don't want to participate in the process. How do you feel about that, and what would you say to that person as of right now? I mean, we always know the talking points is democracy is on the ballot. That's a big talking point every cycle.
I'll say this.
But what would you say?
Democracy is definitely on the ballot. That's why you should vote. But I'll say it's your right. It's a privilege. Everybody can't vote. And I'll say this. I didn't vote, and I regretted it. I mean, you never know if it would have helped, but I didn't vote with Hillary and Trump. Okay. I was just like, it doesn't matter. It does matter. And like even more so, even with your local elections, like these people, your city council people, your judges, all that matters. So it does. Yeah. I mean, I would hope either way, however you want to vote, you do need to vote.
So here's my thing with that. I think if it was cut and dry, I think if, say, Biden chose to run because Biden wanted to run, Donald chose to run because Donald wanted to run, and then we had to vote for the best of the two, I agree. I have no proof of this, although when you see breadcrumbs, you tend to be like, oh, there's bread, right?
Right.
People are put in places.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Games are presented, pawns are moved. So when you know that that's the behind the scenes, I don't know if it's so much so, well, I'm going to vote just because I had the right people died and were killed for this right. It's like, wow. So I'm being forced. Now it's almost oxymoronish, because now I'm being forced to give up my freedom to choose so that I can choose to vote because of what people did. Now it's an obligatory thing and not what it was meant to be, my free right to choose. So I'm being now I'm almost being forced because people did this, either urine or poop. And I'm going to be like, I'll starve, quite frankly. And I think if this is just me, if more people choose to starve, I don't know if it'll change the game or not, because at the end of the day, they'll rig for whatever they want to rig to a degree for certain people to be in. Like there's so much I've come to realize that is so much outside of our control. I don't think, and I want people not to hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying voting is not important. On the presidential level, I think it's less effective than on the local level. But that's where you start. Right. Because if you start on the local level, you can at least have some more influence on the presidential level. So at least start there. But once you get on there, I'm not a fan of the freaking collegiate, the electoral college. Not a fan of that. Always hated the two-party system. So there's a lot that's broken. So it's hard for me. So then on top of all that, you're going to give me Big Bird and Oscar. Like, what are you really leaving up for me to do? Like, you see, that's where I am. You know? So, and I get everyone wants to fight for the side, but like I told Johnny earlier, it's like, policies 1 through 5 on your side suck, but policies 6 through 10 are great. Yeah. But then on the other side, Yeah, policies 6 through 10 on your side suck, but then policies 1 through 5 are great. No one has a masterful candidate like we keep acting like they do. It's a matter of which poison do you want to drink. And I think more people need to really just own up to that and say, you know what? At the end of the day, Trump is poison. I just choose this hemlock over Biden's hemlock because they're both freaking hemlock at this point. Okay. To some degree. And that's what it is, because we're never going to get a perfect person in there.
Never.
You know?
I don't care.
And then get your, and like I told him too, you got to get your emotions out of the way.
Yeah.
Because some people, if I just trick your trigger where your values are concerned,
but I will say,
I could kill a man. And as long as your value is tickled, you'll think, you'll deflect that. Yeah. I know he killed a man in cold blood, but... Right? Yeah. And both sides do it. And I'm through with it.
The system is... I mean, I just look at it kind of like this too. If you're going to have a felon who can run for president, then you need to let all these brothers out of jail who are serving time for selling weed.
I agree with you.
I mean, I don't want that kind of person. I'm more afraid. And my taxes went up under Trump. I want my money.
And this is why I don't do the tit for tat stuff, right? Yeah. Because as a business owner, mine went down.
Yours went down, exactly.
So and people's like, see, Trump did that. I was like,
no,
he's an a-hole.
Yeah.
Just because I'm gonna give him a kudos, the guy's a
But if you own a business, and I'm with you, and I'm with you in that, because now stepping into that entrepreneur space, yeah, if you own a business and you do it right, yeah, you can bring your taxes down. But at the time, I'm like, listen, no. And then the rich are getting richer, and the middle class and the upper middle class, they're paying for it.
What's the upper middle class? Is that still? I don't even think that exists.
Right.
Like
popping, comfortably enjoy that for a little while. Exactly. Yeah. We're gonna get to you stepping into that business real soon, because that's really, really big.
Because I got questions.
We talk about how huge this interview was, and even the one that you did with her before that. We've both interviewed countless celebrities and countless non-celebrities, countless political figures. There's always one or two that we do that we never forget. That was kind of the pinnacle of our changing of mindset. It was like, this was not only a pivotal point in my career, but also where I know I nailed it and I got it right, and I solidified to myself that I can do this. Which one was that?
Definitely Kamala. Let me stop calling her Kamala. That seems so disrespectful. Or Madam VP, both times, because I really prepared for that. And when I interviewed President Clinton when he was in office, I really prepared for that, and that was a really good interview. And and you feel good about it, but when your haters, if you will, hit you up and say, "Man, I give it to you. That was a good interview."
Yeah.
Then okay, that was a good interview. And it just really solidifies you in that space, and that you can do this. Like, if you ever had any doubt, you can do this. To execute something like that, you're meant to do this. This is what you do, and you do it well. And it's okay to say you're good at what you do. So I think for me, that's what it does for me. But I would say definitely both interviews with Madam VP and my interview with President Clinton.
Now, I didn't know which one you were going to say, but I have heard and experienced a lot of your interviews. And your questions are always apropos. And you've even posted this, but your questions tend to age extremely well.
Oh, yeah.
You had one 4 or 5 years ago now, when you were at a scrum with LeBron. I think he was here playing the Hawks. And you asked him specifically, and I don't remember how you worded it, but you asked him, was playing with his son crossing his mind?
Yeah. Basically, had he given, any thought to him and Bronny becoming the first father and son to actually play in the league at the same time.
And what did he say?
And he was like...
He gave you some BS answer.
He was like, probably not. The way my body feels right now, he's like, probably not, because he was aching that after that game. But he said probably not. But I love that he turned it around and put the focus on family and it being more than basketball, and just basically knowing who you are when you walk out of the James house, and knowing that you represent this family, you represent your sister, you represent your brother, as does he and his wife and his children. And as long as he was more concerned about them just being upstanding, individuals. And you got to give LeBron props in that. But yeah, he kind of danced around it, and then here we are. So that question aged very well. Yeah.
And I brought that up intentionally for two reasons. One, we're living in a time where we have seen that come to fruition. They are now teammates. LeBron James is, in fact, sleeping with his teammate's mom. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's a fact.
We just turned into a gossip show.
I mean, it's facts. It's facts. It's a fact. Y'all passing the meme around.
Podcast is not a reality podcast.
It is. But the thing that I took note of, because as an interviewer myself, you don't just listen to the good questions. You hear all the questions because you learn, okay, what not to ask. How did that question, affect them? How did they respond to this? There was a lot of dumb questions asked in that scrum before they got to you, and even after you asked your question. Yeah. One of the things that you have been amazingly talented at is asking the right questions in the right moment. How?
Thank you.
Like, seriously, how? Like, it seems effortless.
Because I really, preparation, I like to be prepared. And I don't know everything about sports, but my brother, that's his area. So, when I'm covering the Hawks or whatever, I would have these coaching sessions, if you will, with my brother on the way to the games.
Weren't you a sports caster for a while? Yeah. How do you do that and not know nothing about sports?
No, I mean, I don't know it all. I'm not a
You don't know stats and all that crap. Right?
I'm not too proud to say that. I don't know it all. I love sports, but I don't know it all.
Yeah.
But I would call my brother and I just have these lengthy conversations with him about the games and the players and the this and the that, and he get me together real quick. So.
I'm gonna be honest, and this is gonna be the fluffiest thing I say this whole interview because of. This is a big. I was starting to think you just got a guardian angel sitting on your shoulder saying, all right, Tony, answer this right now. Because everything just seems like magic. It's not easy to sit up there with someone as powerful as Madam Vice President and be on point and change gears. I could tell there were some points where you had questions prepped and you shifted gears. And of course that's some preparation, but also knowing when to do it and how to actually work it in is very, because you asked wrong. One of my favorite interviews was with Ross at 102 Jams, and pre-interview, hey, yo, Ross, is there something we can't ask you? And he was like, no, man, everything is good. And I'm like, even the 50 stuff is good. Yo, it's all good. All right, question number 4 is a 50 question. Man, I'm done with this. And he gets up, and I'm just like, okay, maybe I asked it in the wrong place. I don't know. And it's one is reading the room, two is reading the person. But I have never seen you miss like that. And that's one of those techniques that I think people overlook when people say, I want to be a reporter, I want to do all that. And it's not just asking people questions. It's really being able to look in their eyes and read their soul and know when.
And because they will sometimes, they will switch it on you. You can ask that pre-question of, hey, is anything off limits? And they'll say no. And then, like you said, just as soon as you ask the question, it's like, Yep. But right, so
I need you to look in my eyes and read my soul. You might not like it, but let me see this guy.
See what I see in there. But no,
might not come back.
No, you really have to pay attention to people, feel the energy, and the way they answer your questions, that'll let you know if you're boring, if you need to turn it up a notch, or sometimes they don't want to talk about certain things, or they'll dance right over it. Take the hint. Take the hint, keep it moving.
Don't do Charlamagne the God all the time. Don't press the issue all the time.
Don't press, just pivot, keep it moving.
I was real
name dropping today, boy.
I was real I like it. I was real Charlamagne when I was younger.
Like real this big. That was good. That was real good. All right. And all of this, almost sorry about that. No, we can do it, and I'll segue into the next thing.
No, go to the next thing. Go to
because it will make sense for me to do as long as I don't forget.
Don't do it now.
No, because I'm saying it in my brain right now what it is.
Okay.
So we've been drinking on this beverage. It's called Ami water.
Yes.
Now this is your personal brand.
Yes.
Ami water. What is Ami? Where did that come from?
The name? My grandmother. So my grandmother and my sister actually. My sister was named after my grandmother, Amy.
Amy.
So I just kind of put a twist
put
on
Ami on it. Okay.
So it's not Bianca, it's Beyonce.
Right.
It's not Leroy, it's Leroy. Leroy. So why water? Why get into this space?
That's a good question, because when everyone's like, you sure you want to do that? And I'm like, yeah, I know it's oversaturated. I know I'm the little person, but why not? I love water, and it's essential. You got to have it. And I like clean water, and I think everyone deserves to be able to drink clean water.
So when you mean clean, you mean what?
I'll say it like this. some of your faves are just a step above tap water.
For sure. So what is the process that your water goes through, if a process at all? Where is it? How is it sourced?
Naturally filtered. It is from a private and protected spring in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Filtered through moss and all that stuff.
Yep, the rocks, the whole, It's naturally filtered, and it's pure. It's clean.
That's the first. So when I went to pick up my first 2 cases, I met her at the radio station, and she said, "I'm gonna record you at your forever." Because I only anybody who knows me knows that for a long time I only drank 10 water. That was it, and now this is my water, which I'm out. So we need to fix that.
Yes,
ASAP.
we do.
And my first thing, I sipped it, and I was like, "That is pure." Like it, you can literally you can taste through it. Like when you drink some water, and everybody's like, "Oh, water tastes the same." No, some water it hits you with a metallic taste. Some water like this. I wanted to keep drinking it because it felt like I was watching it go through me.
Right.
And it really, like, pure is the most.
Looking at the ingredients here, it says water.
Yeah. and you know what? And that's the craziest thing. But like legally, you got to have a label on there somewhere. And I'm like, let me just go ahead and put it on the bottle.
Technically, it says 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen.
Now we talked about just how ordered your steps were by God himself and how it just kept falling out of your lap when it came to radio. But I bet you it's been some bumps and bruises with this.
Oh my God.
Let's get business entrepreneur here. How are we going to separate ourselves? Talk about the bumps and bruises.
Listen, I'm fresh in it, and I'm navigating. Okay. And here's the thing, it's water. Which means what? It's heavy. So the first thing I was like, gosh, how am I going to ship this? Like the shipping costs alone. But that's where you start working on contracts with, say, the Walmarts and the Kroger and the grocery stores and this, that, and the other. I'm thinking about events, selling at concerts and this, that, and the other. It's challenging. It's hard. It is hard. Getting it together was easy. It's getting it out. That's the marketing part of it. Absolutely. So I'm in that space right now where I'm trying to put a good marketing plan together. And,
so you're figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that honesty.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of entrepreneurship. People forget that you don't have to have the whole plan when you start it.
Right.
And a lot of it is, building the parachute while you're falling.
Yeah. And so that's really what I'm doing. And then, but I'm excited because just when I start thinking, then God gives me a little hint. So I received this email from, I'll just say it was San Antonio, Texas. So they were looking for someone to provide bottled water for all of their government buildings. And I was like, what? So I've been registering with everything. And so, I know I can do this. I just got to,
I'm curious about the initial process. You said getting it together was easy.
Yeah.
The Blue Ridge Springs are protected. We know that.
Yes.
How do you even approach?
Well, I have
starting a deal with that.
My manufacturer, so they bottle it. Okay. So they do all of that. Okay. So that takes, I'm not like over there in the spring with my buckets or anything like that. So my manufacturer handles that part. And then actually my sister-in-law, she does graphic designs and stuff like that. And she designed the label for me. And
So being an entrepreneur myself, right? Rarely is the wheel reinvented. So your manufacturer, chances are those springs are providing water
for other people.
For several water companies.
I'm sure.
So I want to reiterate again. So this is going to come down to marketing. Right?
Absolutely.
That's pretty much how you're going to stand yourself out.
Marketing, and then, once you taste it, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
I believe that. That's the part. I believe that. And as a consumer, I'm thinking, okay, it's good stuff. But it's like whoever else got water from that spring, they tasting that same good stuff. So why would I buy Ami? And that's what we're going to... I believe people are going to buy it.
People are buying it.
Millions,
how many times have you run sold out?
Millions of people are going to buy this water.
Speak it.
I am on purpose. But I just want people to kind of follow you.
Yeah.
And so they can see this journey.
Yeah, it is a process.
Right now.
It's just like chocolate.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's just like chocolate. It's going to come down to my marketing, and that's why I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I spend those dollars in the right space. Because
I'm going to tell you what hit me as a consumer off mic. Because as soon as you said that, even though I knew it, for some reason when you said it, I visualized it, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, and it made me interested. So I'm gonna tell you off mic.
Okay.
So we don't give away no trade secrets.
Who's being ambiguous now?
At least it's gonna come out.
I want to ask.
But what I want to ask.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because we got into this. So you have this water going on. You got your radio stuff going on. This and that. Is does family fit in there anywhere? Is there any family?
It's. I'm telling you. That's another one of those things. Like I'm telling you, the time just prioritizing, and I'm getting to a point now where I'll say, you know what, I'm gonna take a day off. I'm gonna take a day off, and I'm gonna spend time with whatever. I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna go see my mom, go see my pops, hang out with my sister. You know, boyfriends, whatever.
Nieces, nephews, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, there's no
boyfriends. Oh, I thought you said.
That's what I was going to say.
She got a line up.
Yeah. As soon as I heard that answer, all right, so there's no husband, there's no kids. Any kids?
No kids.
Okay, so you're flying solo right now. Free to be you and me.
So this is one of those.
No one got that reference. I'm the oldest one in the room currently.
Probably not.
That's one of the things that is it's a dichotomy in the industry. You either have people like Toni who has geared heavily to focusing on the industry and the career, and you have ridiculously crazy people like myself who's I'm Superman. I can do it all. I can have a family, and not going. We
got to get you back on the couch, man.
No, we do. We're not going to compare tires because I know Toni, but I'm just saying I used to do more than 2, and I had a kid. I used to bring him to work, and it was just like, oh my god, how am I?
Was it ever in the plans though? Is what I wanted to know.
No, that's one regret that I do have because I was so focused. So
it is an actual regret, you would say?
Yeah, because you're in there and you're just going career, and then you look up one day and you're like 40, and then you're like 45, and the next thing you know you're 50. And I'm like, God, I don't have any kids.
That's that grass is greener thing again. Because like I can't say it though, but it's the same similar feeling. Because you wake up one day and you're 40, and it's like, where would my career be if I put this energy?
Because life absolutely there, causes, or at least slows down.
But you have the freedom to say, I can't use the R word. I can't do that. That's,
R word.
Yeah, the regret word. I can't say that for my situation. Oh my God.
You can't.
I'd be deparented, especially after my favorite shirt. I don't know. And I don't regret it. That's the thing. But I'm just saying it's safe to say when you're on that side of the fence. But there are people that I've talked to in our world a lot, even actors that wish they didn't because they wanted their career more. But you can only pick one.
I know I'm on both because I know I was born to be a father. I know that. Oh, I know that for sure. And it didn't happen and stuff, but when I look back now, one, I'm like, things probably wouldn't have happened in my career that have happened because I was able to dedicate it. And then 2, when I just look at the world now, I'm actually glad I don't have to deal with some of the stuff I got to deal with the kids. We have specific stuff we talk about sometimes. I was like, you know what? I'm glad. I don't know how I'd respond if that was my kid.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and then I have the opportunity, as like my nieces and nephews, and I have 4 god kids that I'm genuinely a godfather to. So it gets fulfilled to a degree.
Same.
Still not your loins,
but
I'm still making an impact.
Now with the medical advancements and all that stuff, they're saying that we're possibly going to let it be 120.
Yeah,
you could hang radio up in 10 years. Would you think about running it late?
You know what? He sounds like my doctor. She's like, "What are you going to do?" She's like, because if so, you need to get those eggs and freeze them. I'm like, listen, I don't know yet. But to your point, technology and medicine nowadays, it gives you a little bit more time to.
You can grow a kid. Hell, you can build a kid. You literally can build a kid.
You can. To your point, though, I get those feelings from my nieces and my nephews. So they're just getting old on me now. So
yeah, right.
They ain't got too much time for auntie no more.
Listen, they're in full relationships and stuff. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, but when you're done dealing with them, you be like, go home.
And that's can give them back.
Yep.
Where can we get this? I mean, I know I'm getting mine at the trunk of your car right now.
If you're in Atlanta, you can send me an email at smore@drinkamiwater.com.
Camera 2.
And and I can, we can make it happen locally. But if you're out of state, Amazon. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Awesome.
And soon Walmart. I'm going to go ahead and speak that. Walmart.
Oh, yeah. That deal's closed already.
Publix, Kroger.
You got it. Is there anything that, obviously this is next, but is there anything next also? How long do you plan on being in radio right now?
I don't know.
I'm like anybody ever plans.
Yeah.
You wake up one day and you do what I did last year.
Tom Joyner and
and just one day you be like, next week's gonna be my last show, and that's kind of
all right. So this is what I want to ask. Ask every radio person. What's your take on where music is right now, and then radio's role in music? I mean, obviously it's changed, but
I think it's definitely changed. I think radio and music right now, that relationship is kind of like specialty, right? You're tuning in for a specific thing. I think people more so tune into radio for content, if you will, because you can hop online and there's just too many avenues nowadays. It's not like it used to be.
Right.
So I think the relationship is is different. I think people tune in more so for personalities and content.
And that local feel, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you just happen to have some good tunes in between,
right, but they haven't already played 10 times during the day.
But music is different now. It's like, it's different. Hip hop isn't the same. It's different.
I love her. I love her.
I know you would. So do I.
Yes.
That's my big sis right here.
Thank you.
It's different. It's definitely different.
You a fan or no? I mean, we're speaking generalities.
Some of it.
Obviously, there's some good stuff.
To my current stuff?
Is she a fan of where music is going and what it's done?
Some of it, yeah.
It's 7 p.m. Friday. No,
No,
I ain't got no. And no, you ain't got. I'm just gonna see if you'll turn up. I'm gonna see if you'll start dropping it. Okay.
No, but some of it, but it's so different now. I don't like that it's almost raising the youth. I don't like that. I don't like seeing little girls who can barely, speak twerking already and stuff like that. I don't like that. I don't like that side of it.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a lot more responsibility in it, and just a lot of truth too, because you have a lot of, lyrics can be misleading, and then you have these kids out here wanting to have what they think these people have that they don't really have, and but for the most part, some of it I like. I love a good beat, But some of it I like. Some of it I just want a little bit more responsibility in there.
Yeah.
It's funny when I was interviewing Goody Mob about a month ago, and we were talking about the whole Kendrick Drake drama, and it was just like, why? Like why? But then the song just hits so hard. Kendrick's song, you're just like, okay, after a while, you're singing along with it. Right. But some of it I don't understand. I don't get it, like why. But I would just like to see, I would like to see people who are, the artists, I would like to see them take a greater interest in the youth.
Right.
That's it. And just knowing that they are watching you. Teach them something else other than, how to come out the house naked and pop it open.
Right. So like with black culture, what would you say our kryptonite is? Where are we missing it?
Child. Dang, that's a good question. But you're not going to get me cut today. I'm not even listen. That's an excellent.
If black culture was your child,
what would you beat out of it?
What would you tell your child? Your child's name is BC. Little BC.
BC gonna hit those bucks, okay? No, black culture. I just think, but it's difficult because at the same time, it's that culture that everyone is attracted to.
Because there's plenty of black culture where we're winning, right?
Yes.
So so we understand that. That's why I said, but where's our kryptonite? Where are we missing it in your eyes?
I don't know if I'm saying this the right way, but the street life, when we think that, when we glorify certain things that just it's poison and it's going to kill you one way or the other. I think sometimes we glorify things that should just need to just sit right over there because it's not going to do you any good one way or the other. Okay. Eventually it's going to catch up with you. I'll say that. But it's the culture. So, I mean, and it's kind of hard to say that there is any piece of kryptonite in black culture when you have other races who want to be us, who want black culture is pop culture at this point, So
that's what I feel like our kryptonite is. I feel like our kryptonite is that we don't capitalize on that.
Yeah.
The fact that everyone wants what we have and we won't, as a community, capitalize on it.
Everybody else is capitalizing on it.
Yeah, individually we'll do little things, whatever, but it's not known for what we do.
Right.
I think that's our kryptonite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're stuck.
And it's crazy that you said that because I was watching TV the other day and this commercial came on and it was a hip hop song. I can't remember what it was, but like there was not one black person in the commercial, and I was just like, hold up.
Yeah, we are culture.
So yeah, we are the culture. So it's kind of hard to say, but I just wish some of the things that we glorify, I just don't. I just want us to be smarter. I want us to just be smarter and be more careful with our money and education, like educate ourselves and pass those things down to the youth, because we can have whatever we want. I mean, we can have whatever we want if we just plan it out properly.
Agreed.
Since I've been retired, I have developed some very bad habits.
Like?
It's cool. Asking a question and not let my guest answer it. Stone asked you a question and I cut in because I thought it was funny.
Which question?
He asked you, how long do you plan on doing radio? Oh. And I didn't let you finish it.
You know what? Actually, I finished it. I don't know.
Yeah, she said she didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, because that's something that I love. Like, it's not work.
Yeah.
You know, like, I love everything about
you want to leave that everything on there? Like everything?
Well,
everything?
yeah, well, the job.
Okay.
You know, I love editing.
Yeah.
You know, I love being creative.
Prepping
I love
for
the
interviews.
content. I love prepping, you know.
Okay.
I love talking to the people.
But the level of red tape that we have developed over the last decade and a half has become, which is, that was one of the key reasons for me putting it down, because I would have had to almost start over to start building back. Like my biggest offers were like in San Diego. California was crazy. And then the others that would have been like lateral were in like Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I've been in Orlando and Atlanta.
You're not
going to
there.
Cincinnati.
Right.
And all of the politics are the same. And you being a woman, you have experienced some things on top of even what I have.
Yeah.
So for people who are still saying, I want to be a media personality, I want to be in front of the camera, we've talked about all the cool stuff. You get to talk to all your favorite people. You get to prep and plan and travel and be in front of the mic all the time. What's your warning?
The warning is a lot of times there's no stability in it. You know, there are a lot of people. People sometimes say to me like, "Gosh, you're still in radio. Like, that's a blessing." Because I've worked with a lot of people, and a lot of people aren't doing radio anymore. You know, a lot of them. So the stability part of it can be tricky at times, and also you're gonna have to deal with that red tape. I mean, one way or the other, you're going to have to deal with the red tape. And unfortunately, sometimes it's going to come from your own people, you know, or you know, I had to deal with some red tape with a black woman in this game, you know, and I'm like, hey, you're supposed to help me out here. Yeah. So those are the drawbacks for sure. But but if it's your dream, it's your passion, just go for it. But things are so different now. Like a lot of people are already media personalities, if you will, with the TikToks and the podcast and, you know, all those things. But definitely, it's going to be some games. You're going to have to, it's definitely chess. Don't play checkers. Like you're going to have to navigate your way through some nonsense.
There's
That's
definitely
inevitable.
something to be said for there being, I'm going to undershoot this, let's just say 27 radio stations in the city. And so it's actually like 47. And then 7 of those being what you could consider urban stations.
Yeah.
And you're in the morning show host, chair 1 as a black female in the biggest urban market in the country.
Yeah, for radio.
There's something to be said for that. So my kudos, every commendation. And I mean, I've kind of watched your career because I kind of chased your career. Like I got in a little bit after you got to Jams, and then you left shortly after I got there. But like I got to see you blossom into all of this. And I will be honest with you. We're not going to say no names on this one, okay? I'm not going to say no names.
Okay.
But in both of those markets, there were females in morning show chairs that did not deserve to be there over you. And for you to be patient and wait your turn and then capitalize on those opportunities that came twice. Because I say that because it doesn't happen often for you to get a second chance to do the same thing in the same place.
Yeah.
And that just goes to speak to, one, your track record, two, your talent, and three, your dedication to what the job is.
Yeah.
Big ups to you, and keep growing, keep shining.
And you know, thanks. And just for the people out there too, relationships are important too. You know, how you conduct yourself. Yeah. Relationships are everything. Like, I think part of the reason why I'm getting this opportunity now is because, you know, of you know, who you are as a person, your character, all that matters. Like sometimes it goes past your ability to do a job. It's like, who are you? Like sometimes people just want good people in their corner and on their roster. So just always be mindful of that.
Yeah, and a good person you are.
Yeah, and you too as well.
Yeah.
Yo. All right, I got something fun. Rapid fire.
Okay. Oh, snap. Okay.
Oh, I forgot to warn you about this.
Okay.
Hit you with 5 rapid fire.
I'm sorry right now.
It'll be all right.
Okay.
It'll be all right. Isn't it? I picked some nice.
He made Rob Hardy's lip touch this desk with question number.
Rob Hardy?
Yeah. Oh, they're like best friends.
Oh, stop.
Yeah. So just warning you.
No, this is gonna be cool.
Okay.
You know what's it's such a small world. I actually gave him a script once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it is a small world.
We should get y'all in here together.
That's why you don't talk about nobody. All right. Let me see. Okay.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Now these are fun. These are fun.
Oh gosh.
All right. What never fails to make you laugh? That
Questions like
apparently, apparently that question's like that.
What never fails to make me laugh?
What's his name? I'm just playing.
No.
Can't be thinking about these.
No.
What hits your gut?
It's funny you said that because I call him Big Daddy. Big Daddy is a character. He makes me laugh.
There you go.
Who's Big Daddy?
You ain't finna get all that.
Oh, I didn't know because we don't know who Big Daddy is.
And for good
Okay,
reason.
gotcha. All right. Worst piece of advice you've ever gotten?
Oh gosh, worst piece of advice that I've ever gotten. Worst piece of advice that I've ever gotten. Someone said to me once, if a guy wants to take you out, go. If it's a free meal, go. No.
A woman told you.
A woman
Yes.
told you that. For sure.
Yeah, a woman
I know
definitely told you.
Girl,
that.
nothing is free. Okay.
All right. Something you wish you were better at.
Something I wish I was better at. Oh, on some real stuff, I wish I was better at working out every day.
Okay. All right. Who would you like to be stranded on a desert island with? Present company not included.
Big Daddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Big Daddy.
I knew that one. That was easy.
Big Daddy.
All right. I'm going to have to ask who Big Daddy is. This might case. All right. Last one. Something even some of your closest friends don't know about you.
Oh, I can't tell you that. Then they know, right?
If they listen to the
Okay. I'll be fun with this. I like eating baby food. Like, you know, the banana baby food in the jar.
Okay, RoboCop. What?
Is that a, what do you call it? Is that a, what's that word?
Guilty pleasure?
Not a guilty, what's the word I'm
fetish?
thinking? A fetish. Is that a
No,
fetish?
it's just good.
Do you like to eat it in diapers?
No. No, not
So
in diapers.
Do you like to eat it out of the jar or off someone?
Out of the jar.
Oh, out of the jar.
Just out of the jar.
With the spoon.
Figure out, because it's baby food.
So, admittedly, and every parent has done this, you eat your baby's food.
Yes.
When
When I taste it, I always taste it. I'm like, this is gross.
Trust me,
Yeah.
that banana. baby
I've had
food,
the banana.
The carrot.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like it.
You like the carrots?
The carrots and peaches?
Because
Yeah.
needless to say, it doesn't
I do
really
like
have
those.
anything in it. Now, there was one that was an apple, not applesauce, it is apple something. And that was the closest to okay.
See, I'm trying to figure out why you're eating it, though. Like, this is
You know, listen, y'all don't understand. When I say nieces, nephews, and god kids, I'm talking from infancy.
Oh, I got
I'm
you.
talking from like you're a week old. Like
Yeah.
I have them.
But the food should be pre-made, prepped in the baby bag for you. All you're doing is taking it out.
No. And unfortunately, with some of them parents, no. It wasn't. So I'll let that lie. Yo, it was a pleasure
Absolutely.
having
I
you.
had
Thank
a
you
blast.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank
Where
you
can
for
people-
being one of my radio friends that I come because none of my other friends will.
Right.
Sorry I was so late. Sorry.
Yeah, they wouldn't have known if you ain't say nothing.
Where do you find you
well,
at?
Yeah, where did they find you?
Oh, where you can find me, social media, on Instagram, Sytonnia Live, on Facebook, Sytonnia, Twitter, then dibble dab a little bit, Sytonnia, and of course, that's about it.
You know, I'm talking about mission radio station.
Sorry, and Kiss 104.1 every morning, Monday through Friday.
Top billing. I mean,
slip. Y'all know what it is. LifeOnPodcast.com. That's LifeOnPodcast.com. You can listen. You can watch. We have links to everything there. If you want to know about me, hang out with me. I'm at StoneStafford.com. And listeners, you guys don't know, I didn't tell them that, but I registered for school.
Hey!
I start in September. Okay. I will officially be licensed as a massage therapist.
Oh, snap.
So I'll be legit.
Wait. That's after September. You got to start and then finish first. You might still flunk out. Come on now.
That ain't going to happen. I'm nice with it. I'm just doing it to legalize stuff.
My brother here. I know this joker.
No, y'all already know I'm nice with it as it is. I'm just trying to be legal with it. That's all. That's the only part.
No, big ups, bro. I'm glad to see that you did it. You didn't tell me that.
Yeah.
Just Johnny Vaughn, JUSTJONYVAN, all over the place on your stuff.
Yeah. We appreciate y'all. Tell a friend. We're growing. Help keeping us growing. And thank you again, Tony. We appreciate it. If you ever want to come back, please come back with us.
Absolutely.
All right? We love y'all. We out. Peace.
Bye.
So back to what I was saying.